Hey guys, today is about fear and how it is one of the biggest drivers to emotional eating. But what is really cool about fear is that typically it's fabricated in our minds from things that have happened in the past or things that we are imagining will happen in the future. And why that's cool is because when you can identify that and when you can see where those fears are really coming from, typically they start to dissipate a little bit. They have less of a hold on you, they have less of a weight on your shoulders. I'm going to share a fear of mine that I had when I first started this business, and it almost stopped me completely from starting it. So I had a person who really wanted to work with me, and I was terrified of taking them on as my first client. And they called me and emailed me, and I will be totally honest with you, I took a little while to respond because I was actually scared. And why was I scared? I didn't really know this at the time, but I figured it out as I went along, and I also learned this tool that I'm going to teach you later on. So I was afraid because I was afraid of rejection by him. I was afraid that I didn't know enough, that I wasn't good enough, that I would do a bad job, and that he would then tell other people not to work with me. And then my dreams would die before they even began. So before I even took on my first client, in my head, I've already failed. And what's really interesting is that if you really take a close look at your own behavior in a lot of ways, and this doesn't go for 100% of people, but it does go for most of us give way more credit and believe way more in our potential to fail than our potential to succeed, because we've seen failure happen over and over and over again, and we know that the percentage of people who succeed is much smaller than the percentage of people that fail. But if you go in with that mentality, obviously, you're creating what you think. You're creating that failure as words come out of your mouth. So those were my fears. Thankfully, I had a great support system around me who encouraged me to take on this client, and I've had the best clients ever since. I've absolutely loved working with everybody that I've ever worked with. So what I want you to do is this quick exercise, and it's sort of quick. It just depends on how quickly you can identify your fears. Grab a piece of paper and write down the top 10 fears that are controlling your life today. And you have got to get really brutally honest with yourself about this. They could be things of way in the past and things way in the future, but just get really honest. Write down your top 10 fears and then write down why you have those fears. An example, like the one I just gave from myself, would be I'm afraid that I will not be able to make the money that I want to support my family because maybe my parents didn't make that kind of money. So what are the chances of me making that kind of money? Or maybe because of the lack of education that you have, or because of the lack of networks and connections that you have. Whatever those things are, write them down. The path to success, when you write down those reasons for your fear, will become much clearer to you than it is right now without writing them down. So go ahead and do that. I hope it helps. If you do, please write down below, write in the comments, let me know how that worked for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you soon.